Welcome to the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, where we help you conquer the internet one video at a time. We cover everything from how to start a YouTube channel to how to make a video go viral. And now, here's your host, the one and only Dusty Porter.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 333 of the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, where each and every week I interview a wonderful YouTube creator, or in the case of last episode, I interviewed two wonderful creators, Nick and Dee Nimmin, and we talked about the state of YouTube going into 2023 and the past, present, and future. So if you're looking for a more longer form episode where we talk about some tinfoil hat stuff and some really fun, interesting things that happen throughout the year, definitely go check that out. It's always one of my favorite, most enjoyable episodes of the year. This week, man, we have another awesome interview for you. I was looking the other day at the first 4 or 5 interviews that I have lined up for this year, and holy cow, we have some big hitters, some really good interviews, some really awesome creators. And you may hear me say that and think, oh, he must mean like million subscriber. No, that doesn't always equate to wonderful interviews or insightful information or useful things that you as the listener can apply to your channel. It normally means interviews that I leave thinking to myself, man, I really need to think about that, of what they just said, or I never thought of it that way. Very thought-provoking. Those are the interviews that I love the most. Now, there are some big creators, small, medium size. It doesn't really matter to me. I want to bring value to you. So if you're just now listening to this and you have no idea what I'm talking about, we interview wonderful YouTube creators here, and we dig deep into what makes them tick, the things that have made them successful on the platform, and where they think that they could get better, the failures, and so much more. So if you haven't subscribed already, wherever you listen to your podcast, please do so. It's absolutely free, and it's free because of our wonderful sponsor, TubeBuddy. If you don't know who or what TubeBuddy is, man, please do yourself a favor. Use our link down below. It'll say try TubeBuddy for free for 30 months. You'll get an entire month. By the end of that month, if you don't like what you used, then you can just go ahead and forget it. If you did, you can continue that subscription. It'll help you out. It'll help me out. And I'm so thankful for TubeBuddy to continuing, to sponsor this show. It means so much to me that they think enough of the content we produce here, the people we have on the show, that they want to sponsor this podcast, and they have been doing this now for 5+ years. It is just an amazing partnership, and I'm so thankful for it. Speaking of partnerships, you can support us individually over at patreon.com/DustyPorter, get access to our creator Discord space, as well as if you support us at the $5 tier or higher, get a shout out once a month for your name and channel here on the podcast. This week's supporters and sponsors are Matt Leidy, Randy Engler, Simon Holman, Chase Shelby, and a new patron this week, Orlando Hubbard from Idea Splurge over on YouTube. We got about 4 or 5 new patrons. You'll be hearing about those in the coming weeks. But man, you guys are supporting the show, and it really is appreciated. You can also find a link in the show notes where it says fill out our Google form if you think you're a good fit to have on the podcast. That's really, again, it's just to get you on my radar. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to, come on the show. But what most people use it for is they kind of connect me with people they know themselves and say, hey, this person would be a great fit for the podcast. And I found about 25 or 30% of my guests that way. So if that's something you'd like to do, that is in the show notes as well. I hope you all are having a great and a wonderful day. But with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into this week's conversation. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's conversation on the YouTube Creators Hub podcast. My name is Dusty Porter, as always, and I'm joined today by Tyler Christensen. Tyler is a teacher, speaker, ultra marathon runner, family man, content creator, and a micro influencer. Despite less than 1,000 subscribers over on YouTube, Tyler regularly gets sponsors for his videos on his channel, which is called Reviews of Cool Stuff, and he makes a few $100s each month posting product reviews. Tyler also has several other YouTube channels, including a couple that feature his 4 children. Tyler, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Dusty?
Doing wonderful. We got a lot to cover today, so I want to dive into it. But I do want you to tell us the origin story of the channel, Reviews of Cool Stuff. I love that name. Very simplistic, very to the point. Tell us the origin story of the channel and kind of how you have gotten to this point thus far.
Sure. The origin story is actually kind of sad. I haven't told this before, but 6 or 7 years ago, we made a cross-country move for the health of one of our children who has severe asthma, and we just where we lived, she was struggling to breathe, and so we needed to move to a new area. So we moved cross-country, and I thought I was a professor previously, and I thought I was a shoo-in for a professor job where we moved to, but I didn't get the job. And so we moved to a new place. I'm unemployed. We can't get into a house right away, so we're kind of living almost like a homeless vagabond lifestyle for a while where we're in and out of motels and stuff. And then Christmas comes up, and I was super depressed because we had nothing, literally nothing at the time, and I have 4 children. And so my wife had gotten a job at that point, but I was still looking. And I called up my brother, who had been doing product reviews online, and he'd been encouraging me to do it for several years, and I'd always been resistant. But I wanted Christmas presents for my children. And so I said, okay, tell me what you're doing. Tell me how to do it. Let me see if I can get something for free. And that was 6 or 7 years ago. And I started reaching out to companies. I started working with different people, and within just a couple weeks, people started sending me stuff to review. At first, it was just free, but then as I got better at it and my following grew a little bit, then I got it started getting paid to make the reviews. And then, of course, there's affiliate income that comes on the backside of those reviews as people go and purchase the products. So in the beginning, it was just to get Christmas presents for my kids. Now I can get lots of Christmas presents for my kids because I make a lot more money and have a lot more people sending me stuff. But that's how we got started.
I love that. What a unique story. And like you said, it's not really, I mean, it's sad because in the moment it is, but now we're looking back to where you are. You know, you told me off air that you have your dream job as a professor and your family's doing really well. And so it does have a happy ending, which is
Right.
which is what I like to hear. So, all right. So, what would one expect to see on the Reviews of Cool Stuff YouTube channel? Like, what would be something that you could expect, and what are the types of videos that you like to create?
Yeah, well, there's really 3 different kinds of reviews that you might make for someone. One would be just a basic product review, like a user review, where you're simply saying, I've had this product for a year or 2. This is my experience. And that's what you'll see on the Amazon pages as you scroll through the carousel and are reading Rater reviews. So those are the easiest ones to make. You can do that with any product. I also do like tutorials and walkthroughs showing how to use different products. So sometimes companies might hire me to create an install video or a tutorial. And then the third kind is kind of like an advertisement, where it's the unboxing, the product review, the walkthrough, but doing it in a way that the brand or company might use that on their own website or on their own YouTube channel, or certainly you can put that up. So on my channel, Reviews of Cool Stuff, you have all 3 of those. Now I have some more polished, highly edited product reviews for drones and electric skateboards and things like that. But then I have the product reviews as well. So anytime I make something, whether it be for YouTube or Amazon, I throw it up on both platforms. And so there's just hundreds of product reviews. Over the last 5 or 6 years, I've done nearly 1,000 reviews of different products and haven't paid a penny for any of them. So it's been really great.
Yeah, and that's a good transition to my next question. How are you getting these products? Like, give us the full, if there's someone out there, oftentimes they think, well, the only people they're going to give products to are the folks that have millions of subscribers, and you've obviously defunct that myth. So how are you, give us the full breakdown of how you're getting these products to review.
Yeah. So in the beginning, there was a website I used, and it's still around. It's called Tomoson, Tomoson, and they connect influencers with brands. And so you can apply for different products, and then if you're accepted, they'll send you that, and you can dictate whether or not you'll do it for a commission or if you'll do it for free. Or when you're getting started, you might even do it just for a discounted price. So that's how I first got started. But I quickly learned that there are a lot of people, especially overseas, that are looking for English speakers to make really simple product reviews. And so I found out early on that I could reach out to companies if there was a specific thing I wanted. And I would just email them and say, hey, I make videos. Would you be interested in sending me this product, and I'll make you a video and then in exchange for the product. So I did that. Before I got back into the university, I went back and taught elementary school for a few years. And part of my experience as an elementary school teacher is we would have class auctions. And I wanted really cool things for my students. So I looked for drones and remote control cars and backpacks and longboards, stuff like that. And so if there was something specific I was looking for an auction, I would just take an hour one afternoon, write to 10 different companies that maybe had, if I was looking for a ukulele, for example, I'd write to 10 different companies. I'd find them on Amazon, and then I'd just Google them to find their company website.
Sure.
I'd find the contact information, and I just say, hey, I'm interested. I've reviewed a bunch of other ukuleles in the past. Would you like to send me one? And let's have a go. And I've had really high success with that, even before I had a following. So that seemed to work really well.
And you mentioned Amazon. I've got a buddy of mine who I've had on the podcast before. He was a big YouTube creator, content creator, YouTube educator, and he kind of pivoted. He's still doing YouTube stuff, but he's really big into the Amazon influencer or Amazon partner program, whatever you want to call it, where he gets the products in, kind of like what you do, and then post these videos. Explain that, like why you're doing it on Amazon and kind of the results you've seen from that, kind of in tandem with the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Now, Amazon, excuse me, has actually changed some of their policies and the way they do things over the last several years. So back when I started, obviously they've always had this rule, and I'm using air quotes that you can't see, but this rule that you can't get a product in exchange for a review. That's against their terms of service. Yet the people who reviewed most stuff on Amazon, that's all they were doing was in exchange or getting paid for reviews. And so there was a time where I would do lots and lots of reviews just on Amazon, and I climbed into their top 1,000 reviewers worldwide, and everybody was sending me stuff, and I would get dozens of inquiries every day from different brands because they saw me as a top reviewer on Amazon. Well, Amazon eventually, as they do to most people, shut that down for me and said, you can't do that. And it shut down that part of my account. So I can't write user reviews anymore with that original account I had on Amazon. However, starting, I think a little over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, they created an Amazon influencer program,
Correct.
Which was a new thing where you could apply to the influencer program and you had to have a following on some other platform. It really doesn't matter which platform, but you have to have a sizable following on either Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, something. And if you qualified, and they don't say how you qualify, then they give you the right to submit videos on your own storefront. So you can create your own storefront page. And I know you've actually had a couple of guests who have talked about creating a storefront. And on that storefront, you can put all your own products. So if you have a bunch, for example, if you're doing tech tutorials like you do, Dusty, you could put all your gear and all the things you use right there on a storefront.
Right.
Then you just direct people to your storefront instead of to individual affiliate pages or Amazon pages. I don't think the storefront does very well, but what it does for you is as you upload it there, then Amazon will take those same videos and put them, there's two placements on Amazon that people go to, the carousel right above the rater reviews, and then on the main image part at the top of the page, the last image is often a video. And after the video created by the company, then it goes to user-created videos. And so you want to get in those two placement areas. And if you're there and someone watches your video and then they purchase something on Amazon, you get a small commission from that. And they used to have the set 4% commission, and now it kind of varies depending on products. And I don't know where that commission is at exactly, but it certainly adds up.
Yeah, the Amazon Partner Program back in the day with affiliates used to be way better than it is now. I remember there were years early on in my YouTube days where I would make, towards the holidays, towards October, November, December, I would make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 just on Amazon affiliate links.
Right.
And I wasn't even big into it. I would just do kind of what you said, and I would post links to my gear, or if I were talking about something on a podcast or a video, I would link it to my Amazon affiliate account, and it's still great, and I'm still thankful that they offer it, and I still make a little bit, nowhere near what that amount is now. But a quick question, are you posting just like the same videos that you're publishing on YouTube? Do you just basically take that same video and upload it to Amazon and hope that it kind of gets presented in that spot?
I am now. I wasn't up until just a few months ago, but as I just barely started the influencer program a few months ago, and I was shocked with how quickly things got placed and
Sure.
it started making money. And now that's a good stream of income for me. And so I have found, and interestingly, the videos that perform best are the ones where you simply take a product and say, hey, I've had this for 4 years. This is my experience with it. Zero editing, zero, this is Tyler from such and such channel. You don't need to do any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you just create a really simple video. And so I've started doing that specifically for Amazon, but then I'm throwing those up on YouTube as well, just because they're helpful. They help people make a purchasing decision. And so then on YouTube, then you link to the Amazon page that it's on with your normal affiliate links. And so you can make money both ways from the same video, which has been really awesome. You can still, if you do put videos that were created specifically for YouTube, they do have some things they don't want you to get overly personal. So like if your address is shown on like a box or something that you got in the mail, they won't accept that. Or there are other things that, fortunately, if your video is rejected on Amazon, they'll often tell you kind of vaguely, but the reason it was rejected. And so you can fix it and resubmit it. Mm-hmm. And I've almost always had resubmitted videos get accepted. So they're pretty good about accepting things if you tweak it. So if I take an old YouTube video, for example, cut a few things out, like click on the link in the description below and stuff like that, then Amazon will accept it as well.
Yeah, it's something in the new year I want to dabble with, just so I can talk about it, just so I can be knowledgeable about it. And again, I'm not against having another source of income, right? Even though it may be small, whatever it may be. A kind of follow-up question would be, are you able to post videos on Amazon for products that you've been sent by companies, or is it only products that you've purchased?
No, in fact, Amazon's really open about that. It's interesting. So you can post videos that have been sent to you. You can post videos you've purchased, and you can post any other video you want as long as it has an Amazon page. So I can go to my neighbor's house and say, hey, you just got this new bicycle. Can I post a video of it on Amazon? And Amazon's totally okay with that.
And you don't have to stay in any certain niche, because I've did a little bit of reconnaissance on your YouTube channel, and you have everything from movie posters to moon lamps to all different sorts of stuff, which is, I love that. I just absolutely love that. The channel name is Reviews of Cool Stuff, so it didn't say reviews of this specific thing, which I think is really, really neat. It's an idea that I've had before. My daughter is very interested in YouTube, and she has some interest right now currently, Pokemon. She likes to play, she likes to dabble in Roblox every now and then. She loves to rollerblade, and she loves basketball. And so I've often thought maybe me and her could do a channel together where we talk about the certain things and find a way to kind of implement that. And you're basically doing that on your channel, which I absolutely love.
Yeah. Let me tell you something cool about that. So my daughter's also into Pokemon, and somebody asked me a couple weeks ago if I wanted to review a card, like a kit where it's this hard shell case. Mm-hmm. And so we got a bunch of packs of Pokemon. We did an unboxing, where we showed the different cards. We got the case, and we'll put that on Amazon this week. But the cool thing is, so she created this video with me, and we've done a few of them together, and I'll pay her up front. So this is my 9-year-old. Mm-hmm. I'll pay her like $10 to make this video with me. She's all excited. And then if the video does really well, so our last video we made together has made several $100s. So every few months, I just give her a bonus commission. So I'll give her another $2 or $3 every once in a while. It'd be like, your video did so well. And so she is so excited.
Love that.
Right now, she's doing it with Dad, but one day, of course, she wants to create her own channel. Mm-hmm. And so this has been a fun way to support her in that. and to give her that financial benefit on top of it.
Sure. And I have to be clear and upfront with you guys here. My daughter's interest in Pokemon has certainly come from me. It was a childhood hobby of mine, and I still like to collect the cards myself and dabble in the games with her. So it's not like I had no influence there. So I definitely had a little bit of influence there. So that would be something neat for us to do. And so now I want to transition over to monetization for a minute. And I do want to talk about both the YouTube stuff and the Amazon thing. You are not a part of the YouTube ad partner program, which is unique to people who I've had here on the podcast. I believe I may have had one or two on before, kind of in their early journeys. But you are a person, and you told me off air, you don't really care about the ad partner program on YouTube. I mean, it would be great, I'm sure, and when it happens, it happens. But for you, you're making money already. Talk about that for a minute, the different streams of revenue that you have from your content. Yeah.
So, and I should disclose, I have been part of their partner program in the past on different channels.
Yes.
And I think I have 11 different YouTube channels. I love creating content. And so, money is good. I'm not against money. But what I found with this review channel is it's great because I make money from Amazon affiliates. For certain products, so I did a bunch of drones this last year, and the company gave me, I became part of their affiliate program, so I've made several $100s through those affiliate links. And so you can make money doing that, but I've also found that a lot of my money comes through sponsored posts. So as I reach out to these different companies, I'll just tell them, hey, I'll make a video for you for $50, $75, whatever. Or if they've contacted me, sometimes I will give them the option of purchasing the rights to the video so they can use it on their website or on their Amazon page, and I'll charge for that. And so those little things have added up to actually several $1,000s this last year just on sponsored posts. And I'm not charging a lot because I like just getting the products, but those things add up.
Yeah, it's a story I've told here maybe a couple of times before, but there have been many companies, one in particular, an app called Musical.ly, which was very big for a while. I believe it's died down dramatically, but I did a tutorial video and I posted it, and within the first day, it got thousands of views, and the CFO of that company, or the CMO, the marketing officer of the company, reached out to me and he said, hey, listen, I'd like to buy that video, or at least buy the rights to use it on our site, because we feel you did a really good job explaining how to use the app. What would you charge for that? And I remember at supper telling my wife, I don't even know. Like, at the time, Musical.ly wasn't that big. It wasn't a very big thing. Now, looking back, I wish I would have charged much more, because that app ended up blowing up and doing very well, and they could have paid me a whole lot more. But I think I got, I don't know, maybe a couple $1,000s for it, or whatever it may have been. But they said yes within like 5 minutes after the email. And so that's another way you can make money is by licensing the rights to your content. And so I absolutely love that. Now, if someone listening to this thinks that they would be a great fit for the Amazon influencer program, can you talk about maybe the requirements or the process of going through and applying for that and getting approved for that program?
Yeah, so they stay pretty vague on what is required to get into the program. But if you'll just Google Amazon influencer, it'll take you directly to that link. And there's just a short application where they basically ask, who are you, and what kind of influence do you currently have? And so you choose a platform. You can choose Twitter or Instagram or YouTube, and then you simply apply. And we don't know what the threshold is, but I applied originally with YouTube from my channel Reviews of Cool Stuff, and that one got rejected. I don't have a ton of subscribers, just a few hundred. And so that was rejected. But then I applied again using Instagram, and I have a few thousand. Again, not a huge following on Instagram, but at least a few thousand. And that time it was accepted. And so using my Instagram, which honestly, I post to Instagram like twice a year. And so it's not a big channel, but that's the thing that got me accepted into the influencer program. So I don't know the exact requirements, and they won't say what they are. But what you can do is you can apply as many times as you want and using different platforms. And so if you can build up a social platform, I don't think it has to be that big, but just apply and see how it goes.
It's funny. As you were talking, I was curious. I was like, well, I'm going to go see if I can apply for this thing. And I went there, and apparently I have done it months ago, and it came up and said, "Hey, you're approved, and here's the link to your store." So we're going to do a little bit of real-time Q&A here with you, because I believe that there are people out there who would love to have these answers to these questions, and you're doing such a good job with it. Once you get your storefront, like Amazon.com/shop/Dusty Porter, which is like what mine is, you then upload the video. Can you just talk about the entire process of, okay, you upload the video. Do you link it on the product page, or do you hope that it gets linked there, or how does it work? How does that work?
Yeah, so when you upload your video, it will take, and for me in the beginning, it actually took about a month for them to vet the videos. And so I thought, oh, I'm not going to make any money on this because nothing happened for over a month. But then they finally said, you've been approved to have this go out, I think, for product placement is the way they said it. So I got an email from them and say, now you've been approved. So first you have to submit a few videos. I think it has to be 3 or more videos. You submit that, and then you wait for a few weeks and see if you get approved. Once you're approved, they will automatically place that on the different product pages. And you don't have any say on that, whether or not it hits the carousel, whether or not it hits the image section. You hope that it gets placed in the prime spots, but you don't have any control over that, nor does the brand. I've actually contacted the different brands and said, hey, can you decide which ones get placed here? And they're like, no, Amazon does all that.
And looking at, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to insert this information. In looking at the upload process, like where you go to create post, click to upload a video or an image, you're tagging the product. So you're tagging the Amazon link, I assume, right there where it says tag products, and then you submit the post. And what you're saying is, I could submit this video, 2 or 3 of them, and they not even show up for a month, is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then once they do show up, after that, everything else doesn't take a month. Then your videos, they'll take about 2 days. So you'll upload something, you'll wait, it'll be approved, and then you wait another day or 2, and then it starts showing up with the placements. And so it's just that initial time where you have to wait. But after that, it's just a couple days. And then, Amazon decides whether or not it goes up. Now, with tagging the product, this is important. Me and my brother, we've done a bunch of experiments with this to see how's the best way to tag, and should you tag, like if they have like 7 variations of the same product, do you tag all the variations? And what we found is you're best off if you only tag one version, preferably the one with the most ratings. And then they can still, even though you've only tagged one product, Amazon can decide to post that same video on as many different pages as they want. And so if you're in an area, say, for example, I'm doing a ukulele, and I go and I post it on the KMES, or it gets posted on the KMES page for ukuleles. If there are no reviews for ukuleles on Kala's page, it might come up as suggested on that page just because there's no other videos. And so you might have, I found that with the earnings I've made, so I'm making a lot of money off products that I've never even heard of because my video's getting suggested for those products. And then people are leaving that one page and either purchasing the product I reviewed or still watching my video and deciding to purchase a different product, but I'm still getting credit for that. So it's crazy how that works, but that's how they're doing it right now.
And there's really no need to niche down either, because it doesn't, the algorithm doesn't work that way. They actually want you to do random stuff because it looks more normal or regular, or kind of like what they're doing. And this is definitely something that I am going to dive into personally, because it's really cool. Like when you create the post and you're tagging a product and you hit the little button that says tag your products, you can actually go to a list of your recent orders. And so let's say you've just recently ordered, like myself, I've ordered like Flonase, because I have allergies, right? You can go there and you can click on that product and you can basically just do a review of that. And have you found a sweet spot for like a time or a duration in which you should do the videos? Do they work better if they're longer, shorter? What's the perfect kind of sweet spot you found?
Yeah, so there's 2 sweet spots. One is how long has the product been out and available? So there's a sweet spot for that, but then for the duration, there's also a sweet spot. So I actually went through my order history going back more than 10 years and inventoried in my house, what do I still own?
Sure.
And I've been trying over the holidays, especially where you have that holiday bump, I've been making quick reviews of all those products. And what I'm finding is the sweet spot as far as length goes is right around a minute. So kind of like a YouTube short or a TikTok. And you can actually do them vertical if you want as well. But doing a quick review in about a minute, and then the sweet spot is talking about your experience with the product. So better than getting a new product if you've actually used it for a while. And sometimes it's silly stuff like you just mentioned with the Flonase. Last week I reviewed a bunch of multivitamins and they're crushing it. They're actually, you only get like 25% commission because it's not a high price thing, but you sell 50 of those in a week and that adds up. And so the sweet spot seems to be review things that you've owned for a little while that are still popular on Amazon. So if they have a lot of ratings and are still there, you can't post a video for something that's not currently available. It wouldn't do you any good because no one can buy it. And so you want to make sure if you have products, make sure they're still available before you create the videos. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
And the reason why I'm talking to you about this in such great detail is because this is another way to make money from your content. From your video content, and to be able to repurpose it on YouTube, as well as on this Amazon program, as well as possibly even if you're doing vertical quick stuff like you just said, maybe on TikTok, on Instagram, you're going to have companies reaching out to you. And let's be completely clear here. Tyler's channel, reviews of cool stuff, does not have a million subscribers, okay? His channel does not, but he's still able to make money. So I now want to talk to you about, like, can you give us quickly, like, not an exact number, but like on a monthly average this past year, like, what are you making with that Amazon program? I mean, is it a couple $100 or what is it?
Yeah. So obviously I'm making more right now because it's the holidays. So I'll probably make $1,000 this month. But typically I'll make $200 to $400 in a month. And now that I know about this influencer, that was just with affiliate links before coming through YouTube and with sponsored posts. Now with the influencer program, I've more than doubled what I was making before. So I could, I know people that are making, $10,000 to $20,000 a month with this program. It certainly there's a high ceiling on that. But getting started, as I mentioned, I just started the influencer program a couple months ago, and I'll make $1,000 this month. Yeah, so it's grown really quick.
The gentleman I'm talking about, I'm not going to mention a name, but he actually teaches people how to use this program, but he started doing it himself, and we're talking big numbers, 12, 15, 20,000 a month, even more than that during this peak season. So there's definitely opportunities there. And I, for sure, it makes me just want to make a video right now, just to see. I'm one of those people like you who I'm like, I'm not afraid to try stuff, And I think as a creator, I think that's what I want to transition into now, Tyler, is that you can't be afraid, right? And obviously with flexibility, like what I have with other income streams where YouTube isn't my sole income stream, and even the first 6 years of my channel, I had a full-time 9-to-5 job, kind of like what you do, so it was a hobby thing. So I don't have to count on it to take care of my family. But how important do you think it is as a creator to be able to not be afraid to try new things?
Well, you have to try to get started. Otherwise, you're in this analysis paralysis forever. And you don't get the benefits from it. But when you try new things, you'll find different things that work for you and other things that don't. I know as I look back over the last 5-10 years, there have been so many content creation strategies I've tried that have completely failed, but some of them failed spectacularly, that they opened up opportunities. I was just thinking, I had a sports channel where I would just create highlight videos of my favorite college football players. Well, it got monetized on YouTube and was going great, but I found I didn't love doing it, so I stopped doing it. However, some of those videos got picked up by NFL football teams as players would get drafted, and they'd put it on their websites. And some of those videos got a lot of traffic, and I started getting a lot of credibility because I have a sports blog as well. And so it would redirect people to my blog. And my blog started making hundreds of dollars a month, and it grew. And then I started getting asked to be an expert on the radio. And so I would come in as a recruiting expert. I started getting media passes to go to football games. And so
cool.
a lot of things grew out of it, but I hated doing it. And so I stopped. Now I just do the radio stuff.
Yeah, I have dreams of things that I want to do, and I never, all the ideas that I've ever had and put out there, I mean, folks who listen to this know that I had another podcast called Podcasters Unplugged, where basically it's the same format as this show, but instead of interviewing YouTube creators, I would interview podcasters, and I mean, that show, hundreds of thousands of downloads. It did fairly well, but it was a very slow crawl at growing, and so I kind of retired that show. And I never say they're dead, because I oftentimes think about, man, if I had time, I'd love to go back to do that show. And I, like you, have had multiple YouTube channels. One of the ones that I think about going back to quite often is about 5 years ago. I started a comic book overview or review channel called Comic Guru. You can still find it on YouTube. I'm not one of those people who's like, I'm going to delete this because I'm embarrassed. I'm definitely not embarrassed about it. But I would go through and I would talk about the different comic issues that were coming out, and the channel did really well, and some videos 10, 20,000 views, and I was getting reached out to by comic book publishers about, hey, would you talk about this issue on your show or whatever. And I did about 7 or 8 videos, and kind of I realized, as a parent as well as a spouse, and you know this, Tyler, you got to know where your time allotment is, and we only have so much time in the day. So regardless of what we'd like to do, I've got all kinds of ideas, but being able to capitalize on the ones that work and the ones that you're passionate about, like you just said, is very important. The next question I want to ask you, as we're getting close to the end of the interview here, is what is something that you know now that you wish you would have known, 1,000 reviews ago?
Well, I think we kind of just talked about that, but it's getting started. As I'm looking to help my kids with their YouTube channels, my oldest son's creating a YouTube channel about restoring his '67 Mustang, and
love it.
It's been hard to just see him go through the same learning that I went through, as far as dragging his feet and editing it and just uploading the video. We've shot a ton of footage, but it hasn't been uploaded yet. And I'm kind of letting him take the lead on that. But I know, because of my own experience, that sometimes you just got to, put it in. So as you talk about creating a video today, it literally takes 5 minutes. So you just create a video today, you upload it, and see what happens. And I wish I had understood that better 5 years ago, because while I've created over 1,000 videos, I could have created 5,000, and I'd be much further ahead as far as my influence in so many of my different channels, which I do want to grow my channels, and I want to have more success. So I wish I'd taken action earlier.
Yeah, that's a common theme here on the podcast, and I think about it too. I think about when I do my yearly reviews, like at the end of this year, I've thought about this past year and what I've done. Some of my goals are, I'd like to upload at least 250 tutorials on my channel, and I'm not going to get anywhere near that. I'm going to be close, like 130, 140, but it's one of those things to where, knowing that if I upload 300 tutorials, and they're going to be high quality because I do it full time, so it's not like I'm just haphazardly throwing stuff together, I know that there's going to be more of a chance that 10 or 20 of those get picked up in the algorithm, and they do very, very well, which is kind of the premise of my channel. And with that being the case, I look back and I'm like, man, why didn't I do it? Why didn't I do it? I should have done it. And dragging your feet, and this goes with anything in life. It's not just YouTube, right? Like with anything, like if you want to start learning how to speak a different language, like you just got to download that language learning app and start. Or if you're wanting to learn more about a specific topic, you just got to get books or watch the YouTube, whatever you got to do, you just got to do it. And it's easy to say, it's cliche, but there's no truer words. And this episode's going to be going live towards the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. And if you're having thoughts of starting a channel, or if you're getting that paralysis like Tyler talked about, I encourage you today, just go. Like, what do you have to lose? That's just my thought process behind it. Tyler, are there any closing remarks or closing thoughts you'd like to have as folks are listening to this?
Well, I just felt a rebuke as you were talking. I was like, dang, there are a lot of things where I've been feeling I should just do that. So let me end with this. We've talked a lot today about getting into Amazon and things like that. And one of the things I felt for the last few months is I should create some videos showing other people how to do this. And I just haven't got around to it. So I'm going to commit on air. If you want to go to my channel, Reviews of Cool Stuff, when the new year hits, I will have at least 2 or 3 videos up that show you how to get started with Amazon influencer. So there we go. I felt rebuked.
I love that. Tyler, it has been an absolute pleasure. You can find him over on YouTube, Reviews of Cool Stuff. Is there another social link or outlet that you hang out with on the internet where they can get in touch with you if they have any questions about anything that we've discussed here today?
I hate social media, so I do have channels, but if you need to get a hold of me, just my main website, tylerchristensen.com, ENSEN on Christensen. I have a contact form there, and I'd be happy to respond. If you want to go to any of my Reviews of Cool Stuff channels, you can send me a message there, but I only check it like once every few months.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tyler. I appreciate your time so much, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, Dusty.
You've been listening to the YouTube Creators Podcast. We want to thank you and invite you to subscribe to the show, as well as support us on Patreon for great perks, such as having your YouTube channel featured on the show and a link on our website. Until next time, keep uploading those videos.